Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Well, sort of my craft room. I'm outside. I'm getting ready to dye some coffee dyed papers, and I've never done one of these on video, so I thought I'd show you. Well, this is my fish pond. Don't let the fish fool you. I just fed them a half hour ago. But anyhow, this is my pond. I still got to get to work on it. I have a waterfall feature to put in. We still haven't put the pump in. It usually goes over here. I thought I'd just kind of show you my space. It's a very kind of I've got stuff everywhere. I haven't got prepped for summer yet. So I went and felt that it hardly had a breeze out here today, and I thought, well, it might be the perfect time. Usually I'll dip them and put them in like this little container. It's like a freezer or a refrigerator, kind of a tray thing. It's only about 1.5 inches tall. And I usually will put them in there and stack them in between rug gripper and other things and put them over on my little chair. I've also laid some on the chair because there's an impression of the basket weave on the seat as well. And I've gotten that impression to come through on the papers. It's really cool. Well, I've also used the yard. Well, out there, I've used the yard. And I just lay them in, I just dip them in and I lay them in the grass. And you get that cool grass color on the back side of them, like a pattern. So, I don't know, the wind has been picking up a little bit. That's why I've got this, my screen dipper here and stuff that I may be able to lay over the top of them so they just don't blow. It's coming and going. Well, I wanted to show you what I use. I use Classic Roast Folgers. It's the instant. And per a cup of hot water, I put one of those. So the batch, I did a batch already. We're going to go inside and see those as soon as I get these laid out. But I was going to kind of show you how I do it. I have my papers usually right here. I'll tuck them under something just in case it start to blow. I had some of my coffee already in here from the previous dipping technique. So I just put them in there. Sometimes it's not quite on the level, but that's okay. It's going to be a rough one, me trying to show you and film at the same time. So I'm going to try it. Did I thank you for being here? I didn't. Shame on me. Okay. Well, thank you for being here and spending some time with me. And I wanted to show you a little something different today. Okay, this is going to be one of my little mini kind of videos. I had talked about that. I'm trying to get that under there to adjust the water level, coffee level. But I usually will try to do 3 or 4 of these. And I put it in, I turn it over, try to straighten it out. This type of copy paper that I've got sort of curls on the tip, and I don't understand why. And I'm probably really close to this. but like I say, I'm kind of hindered. All right, and I'll just do 3. But usually I'll do 3 in here, and then I'll try to flip it because that bottom one has usually been in there the longest. I don't know if I can flip it with this. There, like that. I did get a little rip there, but that's all right. So what I do next is just take it and I'll usually rub it against the side. I usually have to do it with both hands, but I'll see if I can do it like that. And I'll rub it to get my excess off, and then I'm going to lay it right over here. Try to lay it flat. It's not going to work for me, of course, on camera, but and you can see it. See the impression of the pieces coming through and I've laid them over top of the knots and the nails, and I've gotten those on these papers over here. Well, let me get a couple of strips of these laid out, and we'll go inside and we'll look at that. Let me see if I can find my pause button. Okay, there is a row and a half. And I'm going to leave them like that, and I'll just come out and keep adding new papers because they won't blow this way because they're being held down. And I just don't trust the wind now. It was dead earlier, and it's pretty dead right now. But you never know. So I'm going to just come out and do a little batch at a time. It's hot out here anyway. Okay, let's take that batch in and see what we got. Okay, I'm back inside, and I've got my pile of papers here in front of me, And they're on my desk where I've got some good light shining down, so maybe you can see them better. It was just a quick coffee bath, so I didn't get a very deep impression, but check that out. Isn't that cool? You've got the board lines all through there. I did get a little, it must have been a splinter. So I got a little pokety poke. Oh, here. Check out where the nails were. Check that out. And look, I even got the grid pattern on the top of that nail. I love it. I love it. I have never tried that before. I usually, like I say, lay them in my tray out there. A couple more nails. I'm trying to see if I got a knot anywhere. I know I laid it over top of some knots. That came out kind of dark. So, yeah, it's a very cool look. And I mean, I could use this in my steampunk journal I've got coming up. I could use it in my school journal because it's sepia tone. Now, I did throw some of my coffee over on the pages at one point, so that's where these spots came from. I sort of see a knot right there, but it's almost like it just disappeared because it fell down in it. And this was between two boards. That's why that's such a defined line right there on both sides. But if you've got an old rickety deck like ours has been out there for a while, why don't you give that a try? I did try to get as many nails and knots as I could. And yeah, it's kind of a different concept I've never tried. There's a nail. Some of them blue, when you first put them down on the boards, they kind of suck onto the board. So they're stuck really good. But once they start to dry a little bit, they'll become airborne, as you know. So then you have to usually put something on them or, yeah, weight them down a little bit. I got a little dirt on some of these, but that's good. For a first batch, that was a pretty good amount. I don't see any knot holes that became defined. I guess because they were in the opposite direction, kind of a thing. I don't know which side that is. Oh, that's a really good dark one. Look at that one. Okay. So, that was your little tip of the day. Got an old picnic table, an old chair that's made out of wood, an old deck. And I'm going to put those under a heavy book that I've got to help flatten them. And then the other day I did these. I think you remember them. This is my favorite, although that was a pain to do with the texture paste. But I never did hold them up to let you see how the crackle worked. So see how the crackle went in? This is the one I sprayed with some oxide, I think. And a lot of it laid on top, but some of it did go in between. Now this one, I used the Distress Crayon on. And usually you would rub that all back off, but I didn't quite do it. I also had a good patch under here, and I covered it with a word. But anyhow, these are to go in your book. You just put them down on one of your book pages, and you've got a pocket, a nice little pocket. And it's just, they'll dress up any kind of journal. I think they could go for any journal. Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Now, that one, I'm still unhappy with this one. So I'm thinking I'm going to take one of my green, I'm going to lay that to the side, one of my pieces of greenery and do that. Now, that one I finished stamping. Some of them I still haven't got the words on, but I did do 3 of them, 3 more this morning. Here we go. That's with the greenery. So that one's a little different. I did some stamping in the background. I did these 2 in that citron green, Twisted Citron, that's what it's called. So it's a really, really bright green. And look, yeah, I love how that one's all spiky and stuff. And with that background stamp that I barely have in there, it kind of goes together really well. And then I did one in a blue. I don't know if that's eucalyptus. I don't think it is, but it reminds me of one. I think that's eucalyptus. That used to be one of the things I hated to smell in the craft department at Walmart. So bad, I had to put it out, you know. Oh, it was nasty. Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to stick around and see this. Now, this was that little piece of paper I had the other day. It's actually on some cardstock. It was Artie Mays. It was a page by Artie Mays, and this is what it was. Now, I used some of these to go into something I just did. Oh, it was those T crossover thingamabobbies. Yeah. So I had this little bit left over of the cardstock, and I wanted to use it. Well, when I was doing the resist spray, I still had a whole bunch of it down on my... Oh, I got a cat scratching. Hang on. Okay, he was knocking. His knocking is kind of scratching on the door. I didn't know he'd went out. Okay, so what had happened, I had resist spray that was left over on the little plastic package wrapper, and I didn't want to waste it, so I dipped this in it all over, and you can kind of see where it was at. All of these little spots in here. Now, I have this Glossy Accents bottle that, of course, I haven't been using, so I said, well, hey, let me get in here, and I colored in the roses. I colored in the butterfly, so he wouldn't be lost, the stamp, a few individual flowers here and there, like up in here as well, and then one of these stamps. So I just kind of wanted to get a different look. And it's all dry now, and I'm going to spray it, and we're going to see what we get. I thought you would like to come along and experiment with me. I have my spray bottle here, and I have my Vintage Photo spray stain. It's very low. I might have to get me some more here soon. But I'm just going to kind of put it on here. And I don't want too much. Just, I'm trying for like a grungy kind of a look. But one that could go with anything. So let's spray it with some water and see if that'll move some stuff. I've got some actual tissues and paper towels and stuff over here that we're going to try to blot everything up with. I may have got more grungy than I wanted to. Whoops. Yeah. I believe it's a little more grungy than I had hoped for it to be. Oh. I doubt if that's going to help it, but I thought a little extra water wouldn't hurt. Sometimes you can do a lift technique with this as well. Okay, let me hit it with the dryer, and then I'll see if I can put some water drops on it and see if that'll help. Okay, I'm going to pour a little bit in my hand, and I'm going to flick it on... Oh, I didn't exactly flick it. It kind of landed in a big patch right on top of that. Oh, well, and then you're supposed to dry it a little bit, and that gets those edges around the water spot to kind of solidify, and then you can pick it up, and you have like a texture behind it. Okay, let me see. That one's all right. This was just something to play with. I know I had a big patch of water on top of that butterfly. Do I have enough of a difference? It's sort of there. And it's sort of here. I mean, I really hit that hard. There are the resist bubbles underneath of here as well that, you know, kind of give the impression of a water splotch. All right, well, I think that's all I'm going to play with that. But I'm really happy you come by to visit, to see what I was doing today, some little experimentation. And everybody, I hope you have a great, great day and happy health and hot weather. See you later. Bye-bye.